Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright people, so True Geordie made a video on this whole Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk debacle. And True Geordie's video, you can definitely tell, just by the way he was speaking in it, that he's still not exactly best pleased with Tyson Fury over how Tyson Fury ended their interview. And for those who never seen the True Geordie Tyson Fury interview, it happened, I think it was the start of November. True Geordie interviewed Tyson Fury. We know True Geordie, he is not really, he does a little bit on boxing, but he's kind of more universal. Like on his main channel he talks about, this and that. On his True Geordie Extra channel, he could have boxing, MMA, football, and he supports Newcastle, stuff like that. So he's not just exclusively boxing, he does a little bit of everything. So he got Tyson Fury on, and basically in a very respectful way, because he was very respectful to Fury in that interview, was asking him about the Derek Chisora fight. Why is that on pay-per-view? Basically you claim you're a man of the people, but you're putting this fight on pay-per-view. First you say you claim you care about legacy, then you don't. So he caught Fury out a couple of times. And it wasn't like he was doing it to try and, how would I say it, like a Simon Jordan type thing, where he's trying to just give out to Tyson Fury and just, grill him on this. No, he was very respectful throughout the interview. And he kept prefacing things by saying how much he respects Tyson Fury as a fighter, in the ring, because Fury is a good fighter in the ring. I don't think anyone can dispute that. And at the end of the interview, Fury basically threw his toys out of the pram, called True Geordie an S-house, and said, "You won't get an interview again." Now, that is why boxing journalism is the way it is. Because there's True Geordie, someone who doesn't rely on boxing. It's not his bread and butter sport. He can talk about other things and keep going, keep the channel going. Whereas when you look at boxing, you look at journalism, you peeve off a fighter or a promoter and you're a journalist and that's your full-time job, yeah, you're up shit's creek without a paddle, basically. Because if you lose credentials to certain fighters, certain promoters, you gotta have problems. I'll put it like that. So you can tell there's a little bit of animosity there for Tyson Fury still. But what he was saying in the video, how can anyone argue with it? Honestly, how? I mean, just have a listen to this first little snippet that I took out. Have a listen to that.
Thing is Anthony Joshua, the bodybuilder, as Fury calls him, made the fight with Usyk easily. Even when people were telling him, drop the belt, skip that fight, go straight for Fury, he took on all comers. And if there's one thing, ironically, that this has shown, is what a true champion Anthony Joshua was, because he made that deal with Usyk with ease. And let's not forget, Anthony Joshua at that time was the biggest pay-per-view star Britain had seen in decades. Fury's grown his pay-per-views, don't get me wrong, but he has never had pay-per-views to the level that Anthony Joshua has. And yet AJ was able to come down off his high horse, no problem, and make the deal with Usyk, but Fury won't. Make that make sense, Fury fanboys. You can't.
So this is something that I don't think we're talking about enough, is that we go and look back 2021. You had Anthony Joshua as unified heavyweight champion of the world, okay? He had, the belts Usyk has now, WBO, IBF, WBA. Now, at that time, he was trying to negotiate for the Tyson Fury fight. And as I showed in the video yesterday, May the 17th, Tyson Fury said, "I got off the phone with the Prince of Saudi Arabia. This fight is good to go August 14, 21. The next day, arbitration ruled in Deontay Wilder's favour. Obviously, Team Fury knew about that, because Bob Arum being a lawyer, he obviously would have known that they've got a leg to stand on. Okay, so at that point, Joshua had to make a mandatory defence of his title. There were people saying, and there was little teases that, he might vacate, go in a different way, maybe fight whoever. But no, went in, fought Oleksandr Usyk, right? Now, a lot of people were saying, okay, that's Oleksandr Usyk against someone like Joshua. We all knew how dangerous that was going to be. And obviously Oleksandr Usyk won. But nevertheless, he was still able to get that fight done like that. There was no issues. There was no stumbling blocks with it. There wasn't any of these issues that are going on now. And that's as a mandatory defence. Joshua, if he really wanted, could have said, okay, look, they're messing me around. Look, I don't need, because Joshua was the big pay-per-view star, or at least he was a bigger star back then. He didn't need the WBO title. He could have just said, I don't want to get into these negotiations. They're going nowhere. There's this, that. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to have an easy fight, wait for Fury and see what happens. But he didn't do that. He didn't. And with Joshua, the negotiations with him in his career, with the exception of Deontay Wilder, but that's more so on Team Wilder's part, been brilliant. He's never seemed to have an issue. The only times where fights have been in the pipeline or talked about and they haven't happened, you'd have to look at the opponent. Like a good example would be they were trying to make the Dillian Whyte fight in 2019. Sky were desperate to make that fight. They wanted to do it at Wembley Stadium, April 2019. Well, it wasn't Anthony Joshua who got difficult at the negotiating table, was it? It was Dillian Whyte. Obviously, with the Miller fight, that got announced, that got made. We all know what happened there. So, again, Big Farmer Miller, there you go. But he's no track history of it. And this is a guy who, at his peak, there's no disputing he was a bigger star. And look, me with Joshua, how do I describe it? As a person, I am not one of Joshua's biggest fans. In fact, as a person, I don't particularly like him. But looking at how he is in the ring, and his character in the ring, and how he's conducted himself in the ring, it's night and day compared to Tyson Fury. Who out of the two is the better fighter? Fury. If they fought tomorrow, I'd pick him. But the way Fury conducts himself in the ring, the way he conducts himself, not in the ring he's brilliant, he's a warrior, but the way he conducts himself outside the ring from a business point of view, trying to get these fights made, I mean, we've seen it. And have a listen.
Oh, Tyson Fury's going to come out and call Usyk all of the names, blame it all on him. Oh, he ducked me, he's a chicken, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, mate, the guy took 30% to your 70 when he's got 3 belts to your 1. You're a fraud. They should call him Tyson Fraudy. Fury likes to call himself the greatest of all time, and his fans buy into that. And when you actually look into what he's done compared to the other greats, it's not even close. I think Muhammad Ali had like 30 world title fights. Lennox Lewis had like nearly 20. Fury's had 6. You're in single digits. You're not even in that conversation yet. Yes, what we've seen from Fury has been fantastic at times, but you can't just call yourself the greatest of all time when you haven't even beaten everyone in your era. Muhammad Ali beat everyone in 2 eras over a 20-year period or something. Lennox Lewis, his record is a who's who of the 90s. My days. You haven't even got as many title fights as Mike Tyson. I think he's got like 6 title fights. 3 of them are against the same guy in Deontay Wilder. 2 were against Chisora and Dillian Whyte, who, let's be real, what they were. And 1 was against Klitschko. You can't even be in the conversation yet. But the problem is, in this generation, the spinning of a narrative, everyone just jumps on a bandwagon, believes everything they hear, without actually cross-examining everything, because God forbid anyone actually asks Fury to justify anything he says.
My guy must have been Nostradamus there, because no sooner did he talk about Tyson Fury releasing the video and saying Usyk is this, that Tyson Fury goes ahead and does it and starts claiming that Usyk is ducking him, that Usyk's a coward, etc. And thankfully, no one's buying it. No one's buying it. It amazes me that there are still a small little group of people who, and they're dwindling by the day, because the longer this has gone on, the more Fury has shown himself to be the type of guy he is. It's as simple as that. And one would wonder, right? This is something I'm wondering, right? If Tyson Fury was still under being trained by Peter Fury, this would be very, very different. Since he's been with John, since he's been spending, well, all of his time with John, really, John Fury, and not been trained by Peter Fury in years. Was the last time he was trained by Peter Fury was the Klitschko fight, but I think they haven't really been on the best of contact since, I think, 2017, when Parker fought Huey. But when Tyson was with Peter Fury, yeah, he was loud, he was abrasive, but there wasn't this, how would you describe it, just bombastic, just guy who's just putting business before anything else. You know, the guy who says he claims about legacy, but all he cares about is the green, the dollar. That's it. And he wasn't like this. The way he is in these videos where he's smiling from ear to ear over the fact that this Usyk fight is gone. That Fury, that wasn't the same Fury that I remember back in 2013, 2014, 2015 when he was under Peter Fury. He's a lot more grounded. He was a lot more grounded. Since John Fury's come into the fold, it's just, it's night and day. It's night and day. And yeah, as I said, there is still a small group of fans who are still clinging on to Tyson Fury, still proclaimed to be the best heavyweight of this era and of all time, which I find, especially all time, which is just, as True Geordie said there, you've had 6 world title fights, 3 against the same guy, 2 against Chisora and against Dylan White. And both guys had seen better days. One of them had been brutally knocked out only, a year and a half before, and the other guy had lost, had won one of his last 5 fights or 2 of his last 5 fights, something crazy like that. You can't go and say you're on par with the Muhammad Ali's, the Larry Holmes, the Joe Lewis's, the Lennox Lewis's of the world when you see their resumes and you see what they did in their heyday, and they literally fought everyone. And with Tyson Fury, it's like, okay, I fought Dylan White, I fought Wilder 3 times, I fought Klitschko many years ago. Yeah, that's enough. No, it's not even close. It's not even close. It's True Geordie, you're in single digits. And he's been able to gaslight some of his fans into thinking he's the greatest of all time. And the fans who are still defending him at this point, you're doing nothing but simping for Tyson Fury at this point. You know, those who keep defending him and saying, it's clearly Usyk's fault, this, that, and the other, etc. He's laughing at you. You're being mugged off. And you're facilitating all this. You're the guys who are going and you're defending him putting Derek Chisora 3 on pay-per-view for the best part of 30 quid. You're paying for that. You're facilitating it. You're facilitating him ducking Oleksandr Usyk by saying Usyk is this, Usyk is that, etc, etc. You're facilitating it by saying Usyk's only a middleweight, Tyson Fury's clearly going to beat him. Why isn't he fighting then? Huh? If Usyk's as crap as he is, and Fury's getting the lion's share of the purse, and he's only this little middleweight who can't put a glove on Fury, and Fury's the greatest of all time, easy win then. Isn't it? Fight him. No. Shout out to True Geordie for that video. It was very good. It was a very good watch. And as I said at the start, you can tell that he's still aggrieved with how the Fury interview went. And he should be, truth be told, because as I said, he was very respectful throughout. He kept mentioning how good Tyson Fury was as a fighter. And that's something that, whether your opinion is on Tyson Fury, you cannot argue. You cannot argue for a second that he is not a very good fighter, because he is. He's tremendously talented. A guy of his dimensions and his size, moving the way he does, having the stamina that he does, very good fighter. Excellent fighter. But God, he is something else away from the ring when it comes to how he conducts himself from a business point of view. It leaves a lot to be desired. It leaves a very bad taste in your mouth. And with True Geordie, as I said, in that interview we done, very respectful throughout, kept mentioning how much he admired Tyson Fury as a fighter in terms of how good he is in the ring. And he gets called these names and told, you're never going to get an interview again. I think he's in his right to feel a little bit aggrieved, truth be told. But I'll leave it there. Let me know if you'd seen the video. Let me know if you've seen it. I'm probably going to put it in the description. Let me know if you've seen it, what your thoughts are. And yeah, I'm trying to not do as many of these. I said it in midweek report, I wasn't going to flog a dead horse. It's just when I seen this, I said I'm just going to have a little chat about this. But the goal is now not to flog a dead horse. It's been there, seen it, done it. We've been through enough with this. Let's talk about some other stuff today and tomorrow. Let's do a review of the fights tomorrow. We'll talk about Plant Benavidez on Sunday. Let's do that. Let's do that, lads. Let's do that. Let's move on from this debacle. But I'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks as always to the Hiccup for sponsoring today's video. For now, lads and lassies, I'll call it.